There was a man. He was driving through an intersection that was monitored by cameras. If you ran the light or broke the law in any way, it would take your picture and you would receive a ticket in the mail. So he made sure to go through it extra slowly and not break any laws. But he noticed the camera flashed and took his picture. He thought, that is not right. He turned around, drove through it again, even more slowly. Once again, it took his picture. He thought, this thing is messed up. They cannot give me a ticket. Out of spite, he drove through it 3 more times, each time waving at the camera with a big smile. A week later, he received 5 tickets in the mail for not wearing the seat belt. Dear friends, in Jesus Christ, we know from our own experience that some people can surprise us. Some people might surprise us in negative sense. They do not measure up to our legitimate expectations from them. They disappoint us. Others can surprise us in a positive sense. They far exceed our expectations. They show us that there is more to them than we ever realized. Today's parable suggests that God will surprise us in that positive sense. God's goodness is always greater than we realize. God's generosity will always exceed our expectations. God does not give to us in accordance with what we have earned. God does not put our efforts on one side of the scale and then put an equal amount of favor on the other side of the scale to balance our efforts. God graces in unexpected and undeserving ways. God gives us the equivalent of a day's wages for an hour's work. In the words of the title of a book written by the great spiritual writer C.S. Lewis, when it comes to God, we can expect to be surprised by joy. The grace and love of God transcends our human assessments of what is fair, and we cannot understand God solely in the terms of principle of fairness. If we stop to think about it, the same is true of our relationship with others. The love and graciousness that we show to family and friends cannot be understood or evaluated merely in the terms of fairness. When we reflect on it, most of the best things in life are unearned. They are simply given. Nature, in all its beauty and grandeur, is given to us. We have not put it together. It is there to be received. The human experience of being looked upon in love by another is not something we earn. We find ourselves graced by the unexpected gift of someone's friendship and love. In a similar way, God's favor God's love is given and not earned. We are loved by God before we do anything because God is love, and God does not take back and that love, regardless of what we do or fail to do. As it has been said by one writer, God does not work from the arithmetic of the calculator, but from the fullness of God's own heart. The Gospels, and especially today's parable, even suggest that God has a slight prejudice in favor of life's latecomers, those who take a while to get going. We probably all fall into that category in one way or another. In telling that story, Jesus may have wanted us all to identify with the workers who start to work at the 11th hour. The parable speaks to us of God's generosity. It is a story of grace. We are each challenged to reflect something of that indiscriminate goodness and generosity of God in our dealings with one another. The God of surprising generosity can become palatable for others in and through our own of relating. God's ways are not indeed our ways, but our ways can become a little more like God's ways with the help of the Holy Spirit.